Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, joined this week on the other end of the tin cannon string, feeling Usi again and making her return is CJ.
Yo.
And Easy.
Me, not so Usi.
Not so Usi.
I don't care.
You really need to be more Usi.
You really need. Everybody needs to be more Usi.
No.
I have been on the island of relevancy being sports entertained by Sammy Uso.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm feeling
I'd rather be sports entertained by Sammy Guevara. That's saying something.
Yeah.
Boo.
Well, you know.
I'd rather be rocking with the Ocho.
Maybe. But, well, yeah, we'll get into that later. Because I'm sure it'll come up later. We'll get into that. I'm getting ready to lose some more subscribers. But if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I met CJ locally. I met Easy at All In and StarCast. We love wrestling. We love talking pro wrestling. We love sharing our love of pro wrestling with each and every one of you out there. However, just like each and every one of you out there, we are just fans. Our opinions of any other fan out there. We avoid insider terms because at the end of the day, we are not insiders. We are not wrestlers. We's just a bunch of marks. And a lot of stuff happened this week. So much so
way better than last show because oh my god.
Last show was just Jeff Jarrett.
And a Saudi show that we didn't give two shits.
Yeah. But this week so much kind of happened that we're not even going to go match by match. We're just going to kind of talk about the important stuff. Like, we're having to trim down what we can talk about so we can talk about all the important things. And starting with arguably the biggest news from WWE is that Austin Theory attempted a Money in the Bank cash-in on the United States Championship and promptly lost. Now, this is something that definitely got a lot of different reactions on the internet, you know, which is usually known for being sane and, you know, well-meaning and always interested in hearing what the other person has to say and taking other people's feelings into consideration. So, who wants to start? Because we're going to have a nice, big old-fashioned argument with this one.
I'm going to get my water for this, so ladies first.
Oh, this has already been a big argument, so you might want to, get a followed up clutch.
I sadly don't have any Coke on me, so I got to get some water.
Go talk to Tony Khan.
Rats.
Yeah. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Oh. So,
have fun.
My opinion on this differs a little bit from the rest of the world. I didn't hate this the way everybody else hated this. Everybody is so up in arms that Theory cashed in on the secondary belt that's been the prominent belt since Triple H took over. It's been the day one thing to build up the U.S. title belt, so I didn't see this as a problem. I also didn't see the way he lost Money in the Bank and still didn't win the title as a big problem either, because you had Bobby Lashley, the Killer, come back, which I'm really excited about. Bobby Lashley killed Mustafa Ali, and then he killed Seth Rollins, and then he killed Austin Theory, just for good measure. And he was a beast, and I didn't think it made Austin Theory look any more like a joke than he already does from a week-to-week basis with his fucking selfies and all the other bullshit. So I didn't hate this. I didn't want Austin Theory anywhere near Roman or the main title. So get the Money in the Bank off of him. Cool. Give him a reason to not have the U.S. title again, because I think that Seth's doing a great job. Cool. Check mark, check mark, check mark. Cool. We're cool.
All right. Easy, what do you think?
Okay, so, yeah, I'm the complete opposite. Like, as much as I find Austin Theory extremely annoying, as much as I thought the way was really stupidly booked and planned, because No. Anyways, this got me wondering, what the actual hell was this? Like, literally, Too Cold Krusty the Clown. What the hell is that? Like, for all these people saying, like, oh, they're going to have Austin Theory, cash in on Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania to have a dusty finish. I'm like, no, we don't need that. Nor should we. And then this happens. Now, part of me does laugh at the people who thought Austin Theory was going to do a dusty finish on Cody. But then also part of me is wondering, literally, Trips, what the fuck was this? A cash in on the U.S. Championship? Like, look, don't get me wrong. It is a very prestigious belt, especially dating back to, like, when it was a prominently featured belt on WCW and then making its way to WWE. But it's like, what was this booking for? Why did we need this? You really don't want to build Austin Theory to be, like, next best superstar? Like, I'm not expecting him to cash in on Roman Reigns. No, he tried that SummerSlam, failed miserably, and, like, I don't mind if he was still Mr. Money in the Bank, but this was stupid by all means, and I think as of right now, this is the worst booking decision from Triple H. It's stupid, especially when you look at the history of cash-ins. Yes, there have been failed cash-ins before. Mr. Kennedy, Baron Corbin, even John freaking Cena. And then for Austin Theory, his is different because you're cashing in on the U.S. Championship? Really? You don't want to, like, wait around. Like, there is a stipulation. You can hold on to this briefcase for 1 year. You can wait. I don't care if he tries to cash it in at Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, or Elimination Chamber, if that's happening next year, or even Mania. Like, Seth Rollins has the greatest cash-in of all time. And it is my number one, like, favorite WrestleMania moment, all that. This was stupid. I don't know if it was just to get him, like, take him off the briefcase and all that. It was like, why not maybe just put him out of TV for like a couple months or so? He's still Mr. Money in the Bank and all that. It's just be like, look, what's going on right now? It's not working out. We're going to shelve this for now, but we're not going to completely bury you. This is what I believe the golden shovel has been used for. We have completely buried Austin Theory, and even though I'm not the biggest fan, this does stun me a little to wonder, what the fuck are they thinking right here? So whatever happens, it happens. But again, this was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
All right, so I'm of two minds about this. Well, I shouldn't say two minds. There are things I like and things. Number one thing I like is he doesn't have that briefcase anymore. Like, without Vince around, Austin Theory is clearly not a top guy. Or at least not ready yet. So he doesn't need to cash in and become the world champion. He doesn't need to be hovering around that anymore. I'm glad we no longer have the threat of him cashing in on Cody or him being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. I'm glad that's gone. But I wish he would have failed in actually trying to do it to Roman Reigns. That's all.
Yes.
Like that's my one gripe. Not taking anything away from what Triple H has done to the U.S. title. It is definitely a much better title. But it's kind of like if you're an undefeated college football team and they're like, okay, you get to pick what game you playing in the postseason. You don't pick to go to the national championship. You go like, hey, I want to go to the Citrus Bowl. Nothing wrong with the Citrus Bowl. Pays out $12 million to the winner, and it's a pretty big stadium. Trip to Orlando, nothing wrong with the Citrus Bowl, at all. But wouldn't you at least want to try to be the national champion? Like that's kind of the vibe I got from this. Is like just. Shoot for the stars, kid, I'd rather him have tried to cash in Saudi. Just cash in Saudi and then fucking get Superman punched out of your shoes and be done with it.
I would say I would probably laugh if he got beat up by Logan Paul, and I'd be like, "Oh God!"
I'm not saying get beat up by Logan Paul, like him thinking like, oh, I'm gonna beat him, and then like, I'm gonna make this a triple threat because they're both down. Try and do a Seth, and then just have like both of them kick his ass and be done with it. I just.
Actually, a good point. That should have been cashed in at Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
At least no one would have saw it and be like, "Oh, Theory doesn't have the case anymore." Okay, cool.
And unfortunately, some people would still see it. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, YouTube, Twitter.
No,
this was the most watched Saudi show that they've had.
yeah, at least in terms of Peacock numbers, it's rumored to have done very well.
What were the numbers?
They don't share those.
Don't
numbers.
share those.
Like,
So.
I don't think. I think that that's not like a WWE thing. I think that that's an NBC thing. They don't want to share those. Like, they don't share those figures.
Do you think that next year's WrestleMania will actually have a real attendance figure this time?
They'll never have a real attendance figure in pro wrestling.
Like, that's across the board.
Yeah,
Across companies.
I bet you dollars to donuts AEW has embellished some of their shit too before anybody gets on a high horse.
They have,
I
and
can
like,
honestly
there's
believe-
Not you. I'm talking about the fucking internet at large, where it's like, oh my god, I can't believe WWE embellished their numbers. Tony Khan would never do such a thing. That sort of thing.
I would believe if we sold out like a 9,000 pay-per-view. It's like, so?
everybody does it. They count the comps. They count the people in the suite box. They count the press box. They count the fucking workers at the hot dog stand. They count security. They count everyone in the fucking building.
The police escorts that are there. Yeah.
The boys in the back. They count everybody. Every head counts.
I don't think I've ever. I don't know. This is just from my point of view, but it's like I don't think I've ever seen like people actually in the suites watching a wrestling show. Like I get.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
actual
no, that's
sports
there.
ones, but
That's there.
Okay.
We saw the suites, go into our seats at All Out, and actually talked to Artie Reynolds, the owner of WrestleCrap.com. It's kind of cool. I met him at the first Starcast, and then kind of just saw him in passing. And then when we were going back to our seats, he just kind of came over and talked to me and CJ and said, like, I'm looking for a suite, and I really don't know where to go. And yeah,
he didn't really want to be up that high or in those suites, so he was like, I might come see you guys. Okay.
Yeah, come on down.
I will admit, I low-key, I wanted to enter into like Raven's contest, watch All In his suite. It's like, that would have been cool.
Yeah, sweet.
Raven, like,
yeah.
Again, that's cool.
I'd rather have watched it with Artie Reynolds, because I know me and him have similar sense of humor.
I saw a Cleveland Guardians game in a suite that was from our owner of the Christmas Story house. That was cool.
Yeah, so just imagine watching wrestling from something like that.
I don't know. It's just.
I think it'd be just like watching baseball from a suite. It'd be great. But yeah, that's kind of the whole thing with Theory.
This is our theory of theory.
Well, what has happened in kind of eliminating that trope that, here in this post-Vince world, we didn't need anymore. I just with,
Now,
if you're gonna have him fail, have him fail going for the big one. That's just me.
Yeah. Now, does this officially kill his ultimate push?
I think
Are we
so.
actually done with Austin Theory?
I think it does. And maybe not so kill is the wrong word, but I think now where we don't have to worry about him being towards the title, which is fair.
I'm not saying he should be released and all that.
No.
I'm just wondering, are we just probably going to go back to the way things were?
He's gonna be he's gonna be in the U.S. title scene and kind of right there in the middle for a little while, which is kind of where Austin Theory needs to be. CJ, what do you
think? I
think?
think he kind of gets a reset from this. This is. You could go one of two ways.
Bring
where
back
you
his
could put
first name finally? Or wait, did they already bring
They
back
have.
his
They already brought back his first
Okay,
name.
it's been a while since I'm like, is it Austin Theory or it's just Theory? I don't know.
No, he's Austin Theory again.
Okay, thank God.
You could either just keep him in this three-way dance with them and kind of give Seth a true win over Bobby that's not, because, I mean, you could have them do a 3-way match at Survivor Series for the U.S. title.
I'd be all right with it.
Like, you could do that, or you could just completely pull him for a little while and do a total reset. I don't get... He's supposed to be smart. He's supposed to be the smart, like, innovative heel. I don't...
Ish.
Shit. I would not go after Roman Reigns if you paid me. Like, not like this.
Yeah.
I mean, he saw an opportunity.
You
like,
can just go after his stooge, Sami Zayn.
Well, Sami doesn't have anything, so...
Yeah, but, you know, you could still go after the stooge.
He's not a stooge.
He's not. He is an oos.
He's an oos. He's an honorary oos.
Yeah, and Brandon Cutler is an honorary Young Buck.
It's not the same.
Yeah, no, it's not the same.
Sure.
It's not the same because here's where I'm going to do my trolling to lose all the viewers. The Bloodline greater than Young Bucks.
That's fine.
Yeah, but some people are going to take that personally. Go on. I just had to get that in.
Anyways.
Brandon Cutler can't even be in charge of his own camera. He's told when to cut and roll tape and do all the things. Like, he can't even manage the goddamn camera. Sami Zayn manages Jimmy and Jey Uso. He manages the longest reigning tag team in WWE history.
Speaking of which,
that is a feather.
That is our segue into the next part of the show.
You're welcome.
See,
I told you I'm feeling oozy.
On SmackDown, a really well built up tag team match for the tag team championships, the New Day versus the Usos. And what was at stake was more than just the belts. It was, if the New Day win, they'll win the belts and preserve their record as the longest reigning tag team champions. If the Usos retain, they will become the longest reigning WWE tag team champions. And the Usos won. Putting, it's almost like the single season home run record where, Roger Maris held it for years, and then Mark McGuire, after all those years, broke it, and then Barry Bonds found steroids, and just a couple years later broke that. We have Demolition forever, and then the New Day break it, and then just a few years later...
Yeah. There's break the American League home run record, but he still can't win a damn playoff series. Okay, or at least he still finds a way to choke in the postseason.
No, we're not talking about the postseason. We're talking about records, and right now the Usos have the records. So what do we think about the New Day no longer being the longest reigning tag team champions? I know when it first happened, you kind of got the vibe they were trying to... just get Demolition out of the books because
they were cool.
Demolition and Vince don't necessarily get along. So now with the Usos being the longest reigning tag team champions, what does everybody think of that new stat?
I'm honestly happy. I remember literally their debut when they first came onto the scene. I thought they were cool. I liked the war paint that they had going on, their little dance, which I still low-key miss because that made me feel oozy.
Yeah, it's not oozy anymore.
Well, I thought it was oozy. And then when they went heels, and I thought, I don't feel oozy with them right now, but I did like their new theme, though. But I'm honestly happy, New Day and Usos have probably a really great tag team rivalry, especially that. Honestly, my favorite moment between those two was this tag team. I guess this Eliminator tag match they had, where it's if they beat everyone that came out, Kofi Kingston being the main event Mania, and Usos, showing their respect. They say, yeah, you know what, Kofi should be in Mania, and that happened, so that was cool. But either way, those two have had insanely awesome battles. I do hope we get more out of this because I feel this has tag teams rivalries of all time.
Well, it already kind of is.
Oh yeah. Just Edge, Christian, the Hardys, and Dudley.
Yeah, it's kind of the version of that.
It's got that vibe. And I'm happy for the Usos. I'm still getting used to them, like, carrying 2 belts. It's like, guys, can we just unify the belts already? Especially if you're not doing the brand split anymore. Like,
No, I like that.
why?
Well, here, I'm going to tell you why. Because
we don't need no education.
You know, well, I'm going to tell you why I like it. Because, so in All Japan Pro Wrestling, their world championship was a unification of 3 different belts. One from, the NWA, United National title, the PWF title. It was like 3 different belts that they all unified together to make the All Japan Triple Crown Championship. And I liked how, like the belts they always had those 3 belts, and you were the Triple Crown champion, so you carried around 3 belts.
At least in this sense, unlike with FTR, they carry belts from different promotions. This is one single promotion from 2
Well, that was one
shows.
single promotion in All Japan, so this is the fact that's like, hey, we are the best tag team. Here's both the belts. I like it. I liked the Undisputed title better when you had Big Gold and the Big Eagle. I like that.
I wish they would bring back the Big Gold one day, but anyways.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah. But so I'm really happy for them, and especially future Hall of Famers for sure. If only we could get an actual Hall of Fame building, but that's another story for another day. But congrats to the Usos. Again, just seeing these guys like from day one, their starts, they're just phenomenal. Just please, low-key, don't get into real-life trouble.
Yep.
Yep. That's not being Usi, is it?
Nope, it's
That's
not.
not
That's why you have the honorary use there to help him out.
Yeah.
CJ, what do you think about
you
this?
Just keep Sammy right there with you to make sure that you don't do...
Or the other guy that they brought in, whatever his name was.
Solo?
Yeah. Maybe he
That's
can
their
be...
little brother.
Well, he can maybe be an inspiration.
Well, hopefully he's not in a similar
Or
path.
we can bring in Rikishi. He can be the accountability buddy.
Yeah. Sami Zayn is the real accountability buddy there.
No, he is.
The honorary use.
Oh, yeah.
He was as accountable as Shawn Spears with Wardlow. He did shit.
Look, the tribal chief has already warned all of us that if we don't all get on board and start feeling Usi here, he's going to take that honorary off of Sammy and he's going to make him a full-ass Uso.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what do you think about the title change?
The title change.
Or the record change.
I'm like, sir, the titles did not change.
Yeah, the record change.
The record shift.
They going for the AEW belts now?
That'd
actually be...
That should be kind of cool, yeah.
Oh?
Piece of candy.
Okay, James Woods.
No, I kind of felt torn because I do get scared when they have a lot of pressure on them that they're going to go do something stupid again, because I will sit here and roast the Usos every single time Jimmy or Jay goes and does something real stupid. I did the same to Jeff Hardy. I'll do the same to the Usos if they do it. I was not a fan of putting the belts on them when they did, because they had been in trouble. At least Jimmy had. They've kept their nose clean, and I hope they continue to do that, because it would really, really, really be a shame if this great record and this great storyline that's going is marred in their controversy of drinking and driving or getting into physical fights in public or, God forbid, killing someone.
Suspension.
Well, they don't seem to get suspended when they do bad things, but the regime has changed since then, so I'm hoping that wouldn't be the same. It is. I feel kind of bad for the New Day, because they have done a lot in this company. They've sold a lot of pizza. They've sold a lot of pizza and cereal and all kinds of other merch.
What do you mean pancakes? Not pizza.
Pancake mix. All kinds of things. And it's kind of nice that they had that. And for all the things that especially me and Easy have just mentioned, if you go back on Raw, the start was talking about this match. They were talking about this on Raw Monday night. It was the New Day and the Usos kind of discussing all this, and they do a callback to when, you know, Kofi wouldn't even have had his Mania moment if it wasn't for the Usos. And they do all these little callbacks to their history. And it was a fantastic, like, 15-20 minute segment. When you see Matt Riddle come out, just turn it off because it goes way downhill from there.
Like most things involving Matt Riddle.
Piece. Yeah. Watch that.
Most, not all. Most.
Like, we don't listen to Matt Riddle talk about his bongs. That he jumped the shark.
Yep.
It's fine. Just cut it off. Go to SmackDown. It's the first match on SmackDown on Friday. It's a good long match. There's no hanky-panky. There's no Sammy.
Unfortunately.
We're all very sad. We're hoping that Sammy is dealing with his personal issue and that he's going to be back to being pretty oozy.
Being oozy again, yeah.
Yeah. We all miss him.
But, my take on it is, you know, I do feel bad for the New Day because, you know, they, you know, I'd say New Day's probably, you know, maybe top 5, you know, at least, you know, top 10 best tag teams in wrestling history, not just WWE. So I do kind of feel bad that was taken from them. I really liked, you know, how well this was built up, you know, for the company that rightfully so, you know, is criticized for their tag division and things not really always, the tag division not always being booked well. The first kind of major storyline in the Triple H era revolving the tag team titles was well done, you know, for all the, you know, misses they've had recently. That was not a miss. Here's a non-completely trolling way of pissing some people off, but I really think this was probably the best tag team storyline quite some time in wrestling. That just kind of, that had actually gotten built up, you know.
Honestly, I think this is the best.
Yeah, I'd say like the Acclaim's win was big, you know, like that part was huge with the fans reacting. You know, I mean, we were part of that, and them winning the title, so like that part was good, but like everything else has been kind of mid there, you know, especially just kind of really want them to move on from Swerve in Our Glory. So like it's kind of like, you know, as good as that was, like kind of the aftermath of it's just been kind of to me. So like all those bells and whistles I did, you know, that they used, that took away from how good the trajectory was messed up from that storyline with these, how things have changed there. But this was just one where, like, you know, they truly made it feel very important, where it's like, okay, here's, you know, here's two great teams, and, you know, history will be preserved or made depending on who wins, and, you know, like, again, probably more impressed that it's WWE doing something like this, because, you know, they're the ones that don't care about tag team wrestling. Go look at the WWE tag team title history and find out how many, like, 3-day title reigns there were with, like, oh, I didn't know John Cena and Batista could beat an established tag team. I didn't know that The Rock and The Undertaker could beat an established tag team. I didn't know that Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin could beat an established tag team. When you shouldn't be able to do something like that in wrestling, but that's WWE's MO. So the fact that we got a, like, well-told tag team story in, you know, WWE in a year that wasn't 1999, 2000, or 2001. I liked it. Liked it a lot. I want to see more of that in wrestling in general, not just WWE. I want to see it in AEW. I want to see that in New Japan. I want to see tag title matches being treated with that much more respect.
Now, we'll say, I'm just saying this as an honest opinion. Even right now, I'm still just not behind the New Day. It's just like, I acknowledge their championship reigns and how over they can be. And I still low-key feel bad that Xavier Woods has not won shit, unlike Big E and Kofi have. Literally, has he not won a U.S. title, Intercontinental, or hell, maybe a WWE championship? It would be really cool, but either way, I don't know. I just always find their gimmick is just so dumb. And again, I can only acknowledge that their championship reign was amazing. Like, same way I can acknowledge my rival sports teams, they won a title and all that. Do I like them still? No. It's my same opinion about New Day. I just can't get behind their gimmick, but I do acknowledge how popular they are.
Well, you need to soon start acknowledging the honorary use, because that's also really popular.
No, we don't. And also, thank God, Sami Zayn has never been trying to be the New Day's manager or whatever.
Well, all I'm going to say is the honorary use t-shirt sales, the Sammy Uso chants tell a different story.
Yeah.
Like, we're not even being ironic like we were with Wardlow and Shawn Spears. Like, this is legit.
I wasn't being ironic.
I'll be more happy when Sammy turns on Roman. That will make me a very happy Canadian.
I don't think Sammy will turn on Roman. I think he will be turned on, and another Canadian maybe will help him.
Yeah, and the WWE's continued history of fucking over Canadians.
Well,
just let it play out.
Yeah, when
let it play out.
Yeah, like y'all fucking told me about Jeff fucking Jarrett. Let it play out.
I didn't say let it play out.
I'm speaking to the viewers that told me that I was stupid for not wanting to let it play out because AEW hired Jeff Jarrett. That's who I'm talking to.
Actually, CJ, since you weren't here last week, what's your thoughts that Jeff Jarrett and his world has arrived to AEW?
I ranted. I ranted at home for about 10 minutes.
You don't like to hear my world at any wrestling promotion?
It's not even that, and it's not even like... I mean, it's probably a little bit of my hatred of Jeff Jarrett, but like, I in my defense, I ranted for a year straight about Sting coming out and just standing there and staring and taking like 10 minutes away. Like, that is a whole goddamn match for somebody else. And now here we go again, except this guy is not going to do any favors for anybody else because that's who he is as a person. Don't believe me? Go back and watch TNA. He has nothing for anyone else except for himself.
And stealing Kurt Angle's wife. Oh, no, sorry. Real life subject, I'll not talk about that.
He steals a lot of people's shit.
Good segue.
He steals a lot of people's shit. Go ask Jerry Lawler. But I digress. We're gonna see what they do. I think it's dumb. I thought I've been sitting here thinking that it's dumb to hire these people for backstage roles and then putting them on TV. Because
Madison Rain.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, there's a big one.
One subject we'll all agree. I love Madison Rain, but no.
You know what? I love Chris Jericho. I do. I love Chris Jericho. He is one of my all-time favorites. It has been a slow burn to that point, but here we are. Chris Jericho can very rarely do anything wrong for me. I listen to the podcasts every single week. He puts out like 3 a week every single time. Very few podcasts are like that where I do not get behind, but he is one of them. Even when I'm not okay with the subject, like I'm not sold on the topic, like, okay, well, Chris Jericho is interested in it. He did the podcast on it, so I'm going to listen and be like, holy shit, you sold me.
And now you want
does that.
Mistakes.
But I do not agree with Chris Jericho being an on-screen talent and having a big backstage role, because I think that that's where you blur lines you get favoritism, and people get more time. And who has more time week to week than anyone else? It's Chris Jericho.
Isn't he also a locker room leader, though?
He is. But now he has
the one that tells everyone to, like,
just... Like, it's not just, like, being a locker room leader. Because to me, a locker room leader is, like, the captain of the football team. It's not an enhanced role where you get to make special calls about who plays and who doesn't necessarily.
You're not a coach. You're just a captain.
You're not. You're just playing the game. You're leading the team.
Yeah.
You're a cheerleader in the locker room. Like, The Undertaker didn't have a hand in booking, but he was without a doubt the locker room leader.
Yeah, let me put it this way. So, like, it's especially true if you now listen to Pat McAfee talk about this. Like, Brady and Brewski for the Patriots, and, like, Manning, or in his playing days, Jeff Saturday for the Colts, they didn't run anything on the team. But if Tom Brady or Teddy Bruschi or Peyton Manning or Jeff Saturday would have gone to the coach or the owner and went like, this coach is a dumbass and he needs fired. If Tom Brady wanted Bill Belichick fired, Tom Brady could have got Bill Belichick fired.
And then we never win a Super Bowl.
But I mean, like, that's just how much like of a leader he was. He led that team, and
I'm only saying it's a joke, but I know.
And Pat McAfee came out and said if Peyton Manning wanted Tony Dungy fired, Peyton Manning could have gotten Tony Dungy fired. Peyton wouldn't have, but if there was a conflict, Peyton could have gone to the owner and went, "I need him fired." You know, that's kind of what a locker room leader is. Undertaker didn't write anything, but if Undertaker went to Vince McMahon and went, I'm not touching that guy, he's not wrestling me, Vince would be like, okay. And, you know, I'm pretty sure and I'm not saying, again, kind of like how I don't think Peyton Manning would have ever tried to get Tony Dungy fired. If John Moxley were to go to Tony Khan and go, I don't want fucking Sammy Guevara here anymore, Sammy's fired. Sammy's more than likely fired if John Moxley says, I don't want that shit. And that's where kind of the issue may arise is like, okay, somebody who is wrestling on TV and may be a leader has real authority. So.
Speaking of Jeff Saturday, CJ, your thoughts?
Super excited.
My condolences are with you as well.
They won today.
It was the Raiders. Anybody can beat the Raiders.
They won. I always loved Jeff Saturday.
So did we, so we're cool.
Yeah. I always loved Jeff Saturday because you didn't see very many offensive linemen as like big time super. You could rarely buy an offensive lineman jersey at Hibbett, but you could Jeff Saturday. That is a win for all of us offensive linemen that or former offensive linemen. We never got shit. We blocked and did most of the heavy lifting and never got our names called. Jeff Saturday is a win for all the linemen in the world.
Yeah. Well, I'm more happy on the Canadian football side of things. The Toronto Argonauts are going to the Super Bowl. Well, Grey Cup, but same shit.
Well, just as long as it isn't like that, Grey Cup, that Grey Cup Sunday where Robin Sparkles introduced P.S. I Love You and grunge into Canada.
Anyways.
How I Met Your Mother, watch it.
I never watched How I Met Your Mother, nor do I want to.
You're missing out. Just like on being Usi. Just like on being Usi, you're missing out. Full Gear predictions, including some matches that are probably... They're going to be announcing matches up until fucking next Rampage, so... We're just going to do predictions now. There will be a contest. Stay tuned to social media for that. And instructions on what to do when this fucking promotion adds 12 more fucking matches.
Well, so far 9, so make your counts.
Speaking of Jeff Jarrett, tag team match. According to Wikipedia, here we go. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus Sting and Darby Allin. I know CJ's fucking pumped about this one, Daddy-O. CJ, who you picking and why?
Can I just fucking pick Joint the Clown and you decide who the fuck that is in my brain?
No, that's not how it works.
This is really tough because Sting is undefeated. So guess what? Sting's gonna lose. Sting is gonna lose. 2 years of an undefeated streak brought down by Jeff Jarrett.
Well, how do you like to slap these nuts?
And then he can cut a 30-minute promo, and that's why we don't have a 16-match card.
But what if he's going to reference old Banana Nose again? that part was funny. I will say that much. That was kind of funny. Like, I'm just like, I didn't expect that. Like, yeah, I like old Banana. Like, okay.
I don't know why anybody didn't expect the hit on Braun Strowman and Triple H, because God knows that's what you do when you come out on AEW television for the first or second time, is take a hit at WWE.
That's true. All right. Easy, who you picking and why?
I'm actually going to go with Jarrett and Lethal. You know, I think this would be a really great push for Lethal, especially. Jarrett's just there. And
He's gonna get the pin.
Oh yeah, he'll crack Sting with a guitar and do a stroke and maybe even piss in Sting's mouth. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
But putting aside like all of these guys' constructive criticism, I do hope we get a good match. Especially if this is the opener, please let this be the opener. I do not want this as the penultimate match, which, having said that, I might have jinxed it.
Yep,
you sure did. I'm going with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal in this one. Yeah, it's his world. All right.
If we have to do like another top 10 like wrestling themes, my world is in the top 5. I completely forgot how.
We've already put our 10 out there.
Well, if we do another 10, that's why.
Never again.
No.
Watch Mojo does like another top 10 on things.
We're not Watch Mojo. We're watchable.
Hey, I know the CEO of Watch Mojo, and I'm not exaggerating. We have exchanged emails multiple times.
Okay, I did.
Way off Ash.
I just got burnt out on their content.
So the only best thing to ever come out of Montreal is Watch Mojo.
And and Bret Hart shoot tapping to Shawn Michaels like the little bitch he is.
Mm-hmm. At least Bret Hart still has his hair.
I don't think Shawn. Yeah, it's debatable. Goldberg, he's losing it, but that has something to do with Goldberg. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, it's Goldberg's fault that he's losing his hair now.
Real talk, I read an interview with Bret Hart where he's talking about how he mended fences with Shawn Michaels and still had to bring up fuck Goldberg. Positive thing. Hey, we used to hate each other, now we don't. Man, it's sure great that we're friends now. Unlike Goldberg. Like, that's pretty well what it was. Moving on. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Saraya. Easy, who you got and why?
Alright, firstly, I'm going to go with Saraya. And also, you did miss one match. There's a steel cage match between
we're going to get to that later.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's going to be deeper on the card. I'm trying to put this in the order that it should be in.
Okay, yeah, because it's like listed at 9, so I'm looking at the wiki as well. But yeah, I'm going to go with Saraya, and honestly, I hope this is like the midway point, because I know there's going to be so much like build up to how awesome this match will hopefully look. So for the love of God, if Baker ends Saraya's career permanently, I am going to go to your dental office and I'm going to give you a very angry letter.
That is so Canadian of you. It's not even funny.
And I'm going to tell you in person that you are the reason I prefer Adam Cole, baby. No, but for real, I hope this is a good match.
Yeah. All right, CJ, who you picking?
I'm going with Saraya. I don't want it to be.
Yeah, I don't. I kind of.
Yeah, you do.
This is a nice sidebar because this will give us something to talk about. They, just if that face-to-face promo was supposed to make me feel sympathy for Saraya, that didn't fucking happen. Like, I get that I'm supposed to, and like I get she had a tough road. And she's coming back, and that's all well and good. But when you kind of big league like you did, and she really did kind of come in as like, I'm from WWE, and you're not. I'm great because I was there, and it's like.
I think what got people more pissed off was saying that like this is her house, even though it's like you've been here like what, a month or two.
It came across like, I'm from WWE. You were here from the beginning. Go fuck yourself, and. I'm sorry,
I think that Britt going first and saying that, I was here. I started this company. I built this division into something. I helped build this company into the thing that you guys all seem to want to jump over to now. Like, this, you didn't want to be part of this before.
For this.
And
that's it. That's really not great struggles, which like real life, yeah, she's been through so much shit, and it's amazing that she pulls through with this. But it's like there's still part of it that was just missing. It just didn't sit well with the fans. Like I personally liked it, but I think Britt had the stronger promo.
I
definitely did.
I think Britt proved how much better she was, and then whenever Saraya had no choice but to kind of like big leaguer. It to me like, the sympathy I once had for you is not there now.
And also the fact that when Saraya said that like Britt has no idea what it takes to be like a quote unquote superstar, it's like, bitch, aren't you aware that she was women's champion at one point?
Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of like, well, you don't understand what it takes to do this or this, and like, she does because she decided to be a wrestler. I mean, it wasn't like somebody's dad told her to be a wrestler, and it wasn't something that she was always destined to do. I mean, that could be an argument that Britt could make is like, my dad didn't tell me to be a wrestler like yours did. I didn't have that extra added training. I had to bust my ass and work my way through college and wrestling training. I had to beg someone to train me to wrestle. I had to fight my way into all of these promotions to teach myself how to wrestle. I had to go to WWE and be denied because of the other passions that I was following in my life, even though I've proven that I can do both.
Yeah.
Like, she has strong statements she can still make. I do not think that this is over.
I'm amazed that, like, none of them wanted to bring up that Britt did get denied from WWE because they wanted her to focus more on her dental studies.
I think that
like, if I were Saraya, I would have been like, yeah, like, bitch, you weren't good enough at WWE because they wanted you to stay being a dentist. And honestly, I agree with them too.
The thing is, like, it wasn't
a
good.
That would have brought in more heat, but still.
Yeah, I'd say like that. The problem with that would have been like, you already have some fans, not all, but some going, ooh, don't really like how Saraya came across there. If Saraya would have said something like that, it would have kind of been like, oh, all right, well, fuck you too.
That would have been
that would have been the, okay, well.
That would have been massive cheap heat.
Yeah, that'd have been like, okay, so we're definitely not cheering for you. Yeah, Saraya's gonna win this match. Like, you can't bring her in her first match, have her lose, and then, like, still expect to build up to something with that. But on the flip side, just kind of get an opportunity to talk about that whole segment. It's like...
Now, having said that,
man, I don't really want to cheer for Saraya.
Now, having said this, though, I feel like Britt will still have the spotlight because the two matches that she'd headlined with Thunder Rosa, they were both losses, but everyone was still talking about how insane Britt's performance was.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen the same with her match against Saraya. It's like,
Oh, no question.
Saraya won, but more people are going to talk about Baker.
Britt is 100% a star.
Yeah.
I think that that's a little piece of it that this audience understands is like, Britt goes out there every single time and gives 110% to everything she does. She is self-made completely, because if you go back to when this company started, she could never have held her own in the ring with a microphone against Paige, Saraya, whatever that would have been. Like, she was not good on the microphone when she first came in. She's learned. She's found the resources to help her. She's gotten herself better. Like, she has fantastic matches every time. She is the women's division. She has been women's division.
I'm only asking this just out of honest opinion, but was it because she was supposed to be an alleged face that maybe people weren't getting behind?
She wasn't good at that.
Yeah, she didn't have a believability to be the good guy. Like, it just wasn't connecting.
Yeah.
But when she flipped,
I hope she never turns. Like,
she's gonna have
being the villain.
She's gonna
just
have
like
the
the
same
Miz.
problem
I can't get
MJF
behind
has.
the Miz ever being cheered for. He is always a bad guy.
I've cheered for the Miz.
All right, so next match we will go to that aforementioned steel cage match: Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. CJ, who you picking and why?
Luchasaurus with shenanigans, because you have to find a way to continue the storyline for another 6 months. I don't know how you do it, but I guess this is the step.
Yeah, that's kind of...
This is what's getting me lost in translation. It's like, this rivalry's getting... what? This has been going on since Double or Nothing? This thing has been going on since forever.
Yeah, it's kind of... it's not bad. The whole concept of all of it is good. It's just kind of when you can't get a satisfying payoff... It's been, like I said, it's been going on since Double or Nothing. You can't get a payoff for this until, All Out next year-ish, maybe Double or Nothing next year. So it's hard to keep...
in March.
Yeah, it's hard to keep this fresh.
I don't know that Christian's going to be ready with that soon.
How long is he...
The injury that he sustained is usually 9 to 12 months to rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah, this rivalry needs to die.
It's kind of like, I don't know what they're... Yeah, I don't know what to do with this. I feel like Luchasaurus needs to win, so that way Jungle Boy needs to build himself back up. Very similar to when Ciampa turned on Gargano in NXT, and then Ciampa had to go away. Gargano spent the whole time, until the whole time waiting for Ciampa to come back to build himself up, and he was wrestling other people. He was wrestling Andrade. He was wrestling, all these different sorts of matches to kind of give him something to do until that happened. That's kind of what I feel like they need to do with Jungle Boy right now, is he needs to lose, and then he needs to, go do something else to get back to Luchasaurus and eventually Christian when the time comes. The story could still be good, but...
I don't know. I think that they're making the story less good.
It could be good. They need to put it on the back burner until... Okay.
I think that this is them putting it on the back burner. I think that they are...
And that's not good.
Continually, putting it on the back burner, but they keep, turning up the heat. Oh, are you getting cold? Oh, let me turn up the heat a little bit. Let's go back to this. Just leave it alone. Let it be cold until you're ready to eat it, and then stick it in the microwave and heat it back up.
Put it in the fridge.
put it in the fridge. You can still do something with Jungle Boy, and you can still do something with Luchasaurus and Christian, but keep them miles apart until you're ready. But no, we just keep rehashing
whenever
this.
Tony Khan is ready for Ring of Honor to have a TV show.
I think Tony Khan is ready. I just think that networks are not.
Tony Khan done been ready, but he's too busy to sit down and I don't know.
Figure it the fuck out.
Well, I think he kind of has it figured the fuck out, but rumor has it that we'll hear something about TV for ROH after the pay-per-view. Or maybe the ROH pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll find about it. Oh, maybe, yeah.
All right. So, next match. TBS Championship, Jade Cargill versus the champion Jade Cargill versus the champion Nyla Rose. Easy, who you picking and why?
You really gotta ask me about Nyla?
Do you actually think Nyla's gonna win, or are you pulling
Yes.
for Nyla? Okay.
I low-key kind of want Nyla to win it, but I'm picking Jade.
Yeah, I'm picking Jade.
I'm not just saying this as being a super fan of Nyla, but it's she is a beast. I really think she is the one to beat the streak, much like another beast that defeated a streak. So I think Nyla's perfect for it, especially she can be AEW's first double world champ, or first to hold both the AEW women's belt, and hopefully she will win the AEW TBS championship.
My only gripe with Nyla winning it,
she would be the second holder of both those belts.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be an interesting stat for her.
But the only reason that I have my only little gripe with Nyla winning it is Nyla's already made.
Well,
I feel like there could be somebody else.
Made.
I feel like eventually with the right storyline, Nyla could be women's champion. Give her the right storyline. 3 months from now, she could beat Toni Storm and be fine, I think.
I have a different opinion when we get to them.
Or Jamie Hayter, for that matter. I feel like breaking Jade's streak. Somebody else who might need it could benefit more from it.
Okay, well, when is Chris Statlander coming back?
I'm not even saying just Chris Statlander. I'm saying Ruby Soho, maybe. I'm saying
there's a lot of women in this division
that need
could
it.
Use that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about it. We've had this proven that unless you hold a belt, if you're in the women's division, you really don't get TV time unless you're Britt Baker or associated with Britt Baker, which I have problems with, but not I can't believe Britt's the only one without a title who gets time. She deserves it. She brings in the fans. Crown the queen. Okay, that's cool. Whatever. But Nyla is an entertaining she-beast. And she has legitimacy. And would I like to see her more as herself on AEW television and not Dark or Elevation? Yes, I would. Is this the platform that she needs to do so? I don't think that she needs it. I think that if you have good competitors for her, she can make herself her own little niche.
Yeah.
Just like Britt did. But that doesn't seem to be the way that Tony Khan books things. So if we need to do that, then build the she-beast.
I just think that
because I think she could have a lot better matches. If she had done this whole Jade thing, this whole Jade run of unstoppableness, I think that we would have had a lot better women's matches to talk about. And sorry, Jade's good for her first 50 matches, but she's not. She's good with the disclaimer of, yeah, she's good for her first 50 matches. She's not just good.
Right. Yeah, I just kind of... I wouldn't like it wouldn't be a hill worth dying on, but I'd really like to see like Ruby get it because they fucked that poor woman over so badly.
If I was Ruby, I would be calling some banana noses that you knew in the past.
Hey, I dropped the ball so bad with Ruby, and I want them not to drop the ball, so I feel like she could benefit more in the long run than Nyla, but I mean
if you want to talk about the drop balls, then this is the women's division as a whole PE locker full.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe they'll build something great for the Ring of Honor women's division, eh?
Oh.
Yeah, while their Ring of Honor women's champion is hurt.
Who is the Ring?
Yep. But
oh, really? You don't even... I'm not even... Like, this is not a rip on you, but this is a rip on the company that you don't... It's Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah. Well, hey...
How well promoted is that, everybody?
About Ring of Honor, and especially the fact Ring of Honor has a women's division that we have never seen on AEW, I would know.
Yeah, the best known Ring of Honor women's champion is on NXT.
Yeah. And then don't forget that awful match in the Ring of Honor women's division they had at fucking G1 Supercard. That whole card was shit. Anyway, speaking of Ring of Honor, I'm going to go with Jade just because I don't think they're going to end the streak just yet, but we'll see. This is probably the most threatened Jade's felt in quite some time. Four-way match for the ROH World Championship. The Ocho, champion Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Sammy Guevara. Easy, who you picking and why?
I'm going Jericho on this one.
Yeah, I think it's Jericho across the board. What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, I think it is, but I'm very interested to see how this plays out with Jericho and Sammy.
Yeah. Let's see Sammy betraying him for the third billionth time.
Well, he made a comment about Sammy just lying down for him. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out with them.
That kind of bothers me a little bit. It's like, Sammy, do you not have trust issues with Jericho that you've left the inner circle twice and then you've rejoined him for the JAS? It's like, dude, what? It's like you're going back to an abusive relationship. What the hell are you doing?
He knows where the money train rolls in. Shit, he probably wouldn't have any TV time if it wasn't for Chris Jericho. So
yeah,
I would be in that abusive relationship for the TV time too.
Yeah. I'm not saying Sammy shouldn't be in the title picture. It's just it'll be entertaining to see what happens.
All right, so yeah, I'm on Jericho across the board. Interim AEW Women's World Championship match. I will say this is a step in the right direction. We got 3 women's matches on a pay-per-view. Let's keep that the fuck up.
Somebody knock on some fucking wood that something doesn't happen.
To quote Super Smash Brothers, new record.
Keep Ty Mello's feet on the fucking floor. Make sure she didn't break somebody's nose so that these matches actually happen.
Toni Storm, the interim champion, versus Jamie Hayter. Easy, who you picking and why?
So I'm going to split with this. I would say Jamie wins because of Britt's shenanigans, or Toni Storm wins because Britt betrays Toni. Or honestly, no, my original idea was Toni wins, but Britt betrays her. Which honestly, if you've seen how over Jamie Hayter has been, you know what? I'm going to stick with the conspiracy theory. I'm going to say Jamie Hayter wins, and Baker and Rebel, they come out to celebrate with her, and then they betray her. You know, like Evolution did on Randy Orton. I think this is what's going to happen. And I think hopefully it might build up to something awesome at Revolution, create a great long-term storytelling. Or maybe even New Year's Smash. I don't know. Actually, we scratch that. I'll make it Revolution. It just seems too quick.
All right, CJ.
So I would love if that happened. I think that would be great. Uh, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we're a little tone deaf about how over Jamie Hayter is. Not us as a people, but we as in like the royal, which is how I'm going to start referring to Tony Khan. That we in the royal sense is not aware of how over Jamie is and how much the fan base seems to want her to be champion. Also, we've got this is an interim title, and he doesn't seem to like to switch the interim title. Plus, I think he's got a little penciled in for Revolution to be Tony versus Thunder. So I'm going with Tony in this one.
Yeah, as much as I'd love for Easy's idea to take place, Tony Storm's going to win this match. And I hate to say this, but, like, I don't get it with Tony Storm. Like, I'm not saying she's a bad wrestler. I'm just not...
I'm not behind her.
I don't see whatever... you know... The people I actually respect on Twitter that don't just be, like, have blind fandom, you know, they're really into Tony, and that's fine. I'm not faulting them for liking what they like, but, like, you know, I see their, like, excited tweets about Tony Storm and, you know, excited, like, oh my god, what a great match. I'm like, it's okay. Like...
Tony's run in NXT UK was so much better than this.
Yeah, like, I don't...
Like, that Tony Storm, I was super stoked for.
Yeah, I just...
Liked that one a lot.
Like, I just don't... I don't see what the rest of the people are seeing in Tony Storm. That's not me saying she's terrible, bad, shouldn't be employed. I hate them, and... It's just me saying, like... I'd rather see Jamie Hayter. I'd rather see Ruby Soho. I'd rather see Britt Baker. I'd rather see Athena. That's just me.
This is kind of why I have a problem with that interim piece. You know, when they first did this interim belt for Jon Moxley, and it said, like, I'm not a big fan of this. This is why I don't like it. Because now you cannot pivot with this title because you have an actual world champion that is owed a match.
I mean,
so
you could do a pivot.
No, you can't long-term story tell with the pivot.
No, you could... Okay, here's what... You could very easily have, like... Say Jamie Hayter wins. Okay, then Jamie Hayter loses to Thunder Rosa. Or Jamie Hayter beats Thunder Rosa. And then... You could still do the pivot. You could essentially still do, like, what happens in MMA, where it's like, all right, we're going to have an interim champion... And then eventually we'll get that big fight, and then like, oh, the interim champion lost the belt. Well, we'll still get to that fight. We'll still get to that big fight we promoted. So
you still didn't give... Tony Storm did not get any legitimacy from being the interim world champion for the women. She didn't. Like, a bunch of what has not felt special about her is because she has the interim belt. The only way you're going to legitimize her is if she beats Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
And then you can't do your storyline that kind of came out of the woodwork with Jamie. You can't do a storyline with Jamie and Britt because you have to do Jamie and Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
And I just kind of think it's dumb.
Oh, well. Yeah, but... Yeah, I'm pulling for Jamie. Not gonna happen. AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Final. The match for the ages, TBD versus TBD.
I think Jake is going to come out and cash in his Money in the Bank contract.
Well,
for the ECW 24/7 Championship.
Well, no. Essentially, Orange Cassidy already holds that belt.
Yeah. All you have to do is ask.
Yeah, all you have to do is ask, and Orange Cassidy will give you a shot at his belt that means nothing. So here's who's available to wrestle in this match. It's going to be either Ethan Page or Bandito facing off against Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, or Lance Archer. So hopefully by the time the contest is up, when the contest is up, we'll Wait to put in who's actually in the match, so you know. Um, who does everybody think will be in the match, and then we'll go from there.
So my pick is going to be Ethan Page and oh god, who was that guy who was insanely popular?
Talented.
W Dark. Oh, Ricky Starks. Okay, that guy. He was so over on Dark. I think it's gonna be for oh yeah, I'm breaking character. I'm acknowledging he exists. But Ethan Page against Ricky Bobby. I think Ethan will win because this will lead up to when we talk about the world title. That I think it will be a great main event at Winter is Coming.
Okay.
Because
CJ,
sadly, not everyone's going to die with Lance Archer. I'm sad.
Nobody dies when
Nobody dies.
wrestles in AEW.
CJ, who you picking?
I'm picking Ricky Starks.
Who's he gonna wrestle though?
He's gonna wrestle Ethan Page. He's going to beat Ethan. He will be MJF's first contender for that title.
Sure.
Because, and this is it. This is the hook. Is we have been swerved.
He did lose to Hook, by the way. Sorry, I'll shut up. Well, he said, "Here's the hook." I'm like, I was in this match.
She's talking about Blues Traveler, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Bringing it back. Yeah. Hook. He lost to Hook, and now where has Hook been? Where's Hook? Who's sending Hook? Nobody's sending Hook now. No. Ricky will be Ethan Page because Ethan and MJF are still on the same page. The Stokely faction will help MJF ultimately.
Yeah, we're kind of jumping ahead of ourselves there because we got another title match to talk about. The Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory. Who you picking in that one? And then we'll get into this whole Eliminator and how it bleeds into the world title and all that good stuff.
I think that Swerve in Our Glory is going to get the belts back.
No.
I don't agree with it either, but I think that's what they're going to do.
We don't need to potato hop the tag belt.
Well, but they don't want the Young Bucks to beat the Acclaimed, so Swerve in Our Glory's got to go.
We don't need the Young Bucks to beat the Acclaimed.
But the Young Bucks are back.
Yeah, the Young Bucks are coming back. See, here's my thing, and there's
who says they want the world tag belts? There is, believe it or not, a trios championship.
Yeah, I don't think they're going back to that.
God forbid they would go after the Ring of Honor 6-man tag because fuck Dalton Castle and fuck the Boys. Sorry, not sorry.
See, here's my thing with the Young Bucks now. You know, back in 2019, 2020, everybody got high praise on YouTube for claiming that Cody Rhodes buried everybody. And, you know, anytime Cody Rhodes came up, it was like, fuck that Cody Rhodes motherfucker. Everything's ruined because Cody Rhodes won a belt. See, since that's what, you know, got all the likes and the retweets and the, you know, rah-rahs, that's just what I'm going to do with the Young Bucks from now on. I'm just going to assume that every time they're around, they're going to bury a bunch of people because they're EVPs, because that was the proven morality that works. So I agree with CG on this one. Swerve in Our Glory is going to get it back because Young Bucks got to beat somebody, and they're smart enough to know, don't put yourself over the Acclaimed.
I also don't think that they personally like the fact that the crowds have kind of hijacked the booking decisions.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid, let's go with what the crowd wants.
Maybe the Acclaimed are just awesome.
Oh, maybe they are just awesome. FTR's awesome too, and I think the Young Bucks, you know, hey, if we're going to come up with ridiculous conspiracy theories about, you know, the not as cool people in the Elite, I'm going to come up with some more of my own here. I think that the Young Bucks just kind of threw FTR a bone and like, okay, we're not going to completely bury you and win the only match we'll give you your win back, but you ain't touching them AEW tag belts. Here's the ROH ones to placate you. That's the vibe I'm getting from this, because this start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. I'm all for long-term storytelling, but like this just makes like with FTR going after the AEW tag belts getting kind of old. Getting kind of old real fucking fast. And I think the Young Bucks are maybe not so happy with the fact that maybe, just maybe, in their own company, some other teams are a little more over than them.
And also, at least unlike the teams, they weren't part of a backstage fight in a locker room. That obviously was not started by them, but still, yeah. I'm gonna.
Hey. I'm just like completely full sailing it. Like, all right, well, if being ridiculous about that gets over, maybe I could be ridiculous and get over. I don't know. We'll see. We'll roll them dice.
What's also the thought that they might come out to Carry On Wayward Son? That was been reported.
Way to kill that song.
Just gimmick infringement all over.
No, Supernatural killed song.
Yeah, way to just fucking shit on everything Dan the Dad's worked for. Fucking pieces of shit, Young Bucks.
Hey, maybe
Am I doing it right? I mean, like, that's what was always said about Cody Rhodes back in the day. Oh, fucking had a match, won it, fucking prick. Like, am I doing this whole thing right? But yeah, Swerve in Our Glory. Now time to talk about the main event. AEW World Championship match. MJF versus Jon Moxley. Is it MJF across the board?
Yes.
Yup.
Yep. I think that I'm kind of agreeing with CG. I don't think that the association with Stokely and MJF is over. I think we're getting hoodwinked and bamboozled. What does everybody else think?
Why? I don't get the firm. It's stupid. I'm sorry. It's stupid. Like, I also felt like the betrayal was it happened way too fast.
Exactly.
That's exactly why I feel the aforementioned bamboozling and hoodwinking is happening.
This would be way more believable if this was American Top Team. That is me saying something. Not a group based out of AEW Dark Wrestlers. Yes, that is my shade. At least, except
I feel really
Page, at least
bad for, because it's really made up of some fantastic wrestlers.
Yes. Ethan Page being one of them.
They're great now. It's just most of their exposure is either overdone, or they had their fame, or they just don't get enough exposure already. I get maybe that's what the firm's message is supposed to be, but yeah. Especially, I'm amazed that no one has thrown shade at Stokely saying, didn't you used to be Jade Cargill's manager until she probably fired you or something? Or you just disappeared off the face of the earth?
Well, I think the one thing, I will say...
I can get behind.
Stokely,
I think I can't. I'm not behind him.
Okay. See, to me, I think the one thing that it maybe we'll be seeing more from the firm when they actually kind of get to fully really hit the ground running with the title and really go. And again, MJF doesn't need a manager, but neither did Ric Flair with J.J. Dillon.
Who?
What?
JJ who?
J.J. Dillon?
J.J. Dillon.
Who?
The loafer?
He was the manager of the Four Horsemen.
You've broken the CJ.
What?
You've broken the accountant. And confused Canadian is confused. Who the fuck is JJ?
He was the manager of the Four Horsemen.
Stop watching the WCW stuff right now. We have to go. We have to jump in the NWA.
We might have to go back and rewatch Jim Crockett Promotions now, so you can see the Horsemen.
No, there's no might. I have to. I'm playing my behind the scenes card right now. We have to.
Yeah. J.J. Dillon was the manager of the Four Horsemen, and he did talking in promos in a faction that included Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, and Arn Anderson. None of them needed a manager, but they had one because they were bad people that did bad things.
With his loafer.
Yeah. They did bad things to people. You know, they had that as an unfair advantage because they're not good people. You know who I don't think, at least from a storyline perspective, is not a good person? MJF! MJF, you guys! I think he might be a bad guy. I don't know.
Oh, Billie Eilish, duh.
So the fact that he still uses the firm would be a way to go, what a bad fucking dude. And not like bad as in like he's bad, like fuck him. And that's what they need.
Because MJF on his own is starting to be pretty damn likable.
Yeah.
How about a manager that'd be more threatening? Not Stokely.
The manager's not supposed to be threatening. The manager's supposed to be like, that stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan wasn't threatening. That's what pissed you off is you'd see this little, you'd see Jimmy Hart or Bobby Heenan or J.J. Dillon or Jim Cornette even, because he was a good manager. He's a kind of moron now, but he was a good manager, running their mouth and, talking shit on your favorite wrestler, and you knew they could hit that guy's ass, and they would avoid getting their ass kicked. The manager is not supposed to be threatening.
Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman, exactly.
When they get their hands on Paul Heyman and they act like a chicken shit. Because he can't do anything, but he's got all the bravado when he's talking about it. And when you're in the match and he cheats or throws something to his big, tough wrestler, then you're like, that son of a bitch.
Yep. And that's why Stokely's a good manager for MJF, because he doesn't outshine MJF. He's just that little extra part that makes you go, fuck all them people.
Okay, you know what? If we're going to talk about how MJF seems like, or he calls himself the devil, okay, you want a manager that literally can play the devil? Father James Mitchell.
No,
I
really? Don't want Father James Mitchell on this. He's the devil. He's not demonic.
Yeah. He is the devil. He is not a shoot Satanist.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Lucifer?
No.
Oh, it's a good show.
I bet it is.
He's not a demon. He's Lucifer Morningstar, and he's up class. He's I'm broken. Easy broke my brain. I'm still stuck on that he didn't know who J.J. Dillon was. MJF he's uptown class. He's Lucifer Morningstar. He's not the devil. He's Lucifer. He's classy. He's sophisticated.
Yeah.
No.
Again, you really?
Mitchell's not
you don't, for someone, again, MJF bragging about, being the devil. You really don't think James Mitchell would be
No.
the perfect
Nope.
manager for him?
Sure
No,
don't.
because Stokely Hathaway will walk into whatever place they're in a whole ass suit and some high class loafers, looking the part 24/7. I have personally seen Father James
Don't
Mitchell,
think James Mitchell.
walking in shorts and Crocs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going outside of the chase for a smoke.
I said this with WWE, so now I'm going to say it here. Let it play out, because you're going to like it. You're not going to like it. That's the point.
Yeah, point.
Tyler
Again,
American
it's
Top
something
Team
I've
play
said.
out.
Like,
Look what
I'm not
happened.
trying to be Bully Ray here, but it's something I've said that just always. I think a lot of the people in AEW, or at least the AEW fan base, I think a lot of people are afraid of having a bad guy. Like, they don't want a bad guy. You don't, like I said, I'm not trying to be like, oh, fucking Hangman should just lost in 2 days because of the heat, like Bully Ray. But, with MJF, like, people want to cheer it. People want him to be funny. People want him to be cool. People want him to be witty and go like, just kidding, Renee. So we can go, ho, ho, ho. Oh, you MJF. People really don't want a bad guy. I think that at least the ones that, have influence on Twitter are afraid of actually having a bad guy.
And you know what? That makes them fickle.
Well,
We're all fickle. I will fully say I'm fucking fickle. But again, like people don't want MJF
a
to
touchable face, and he can still be that way without anybody trying to continue his influence.
But I don't know how much longer MJF can be.
Yeah.
He is being cheered all the time. He had to physically assault Tony Schiavone to get any heat back on himself.
Yeah.
He can't.
So he needs something
too
like.
goddamn good.
So how does Jericho maintain being his heat, even though people still sing?
Because he doesn't.
He doesn't. People sing Judas. People cheer him. He doesn't really get booed.
Like I said, people do. Everybody says they want to see bad guy. Oh, I want to see, I want to see an epic. I want to see an epic bad guy. Oh, I want to see this and this. Well, but when you're presented with the chance, you want to cheer him. You want to cheer MGF. You would, like I'm seeing all these people on Reddit saying like, oh man, I want to, cheer MJF. The only reason I cheered MJF as loud as I did because I fucking hate CM Punk. That's why I cheered him. CM Punk is gone now. So I want to boo MJF again. I want MJF to be unlikable. I want him to not feel cool. I want it to not be epic when he wins. I want to feel bad for Jon Moxley when he loses that belt. Everybody says they want this and they want to see bad guys win and to be good, but no, you want to cheer and feel cool and feel like you're with the bad guy. You can't have your cake and eat it too anymore. If you want to tell better stories, you can't do that. Sorry, Young Bucks, that philosophy's not that good. Sorry, Cody, that philosophy's not that good, because I know he implemented it too. People have got to... You should want somebody to lose. And feel bad when they win because they did not lose. And MJF is the last person that can do that. So they need to do something with MJF in this match. So he's not getting a standing ovation in the Heroes Welcome anymore. If that's Stokely Hathaway, that's Stokely Hathaway. If that's beating up William Regal, I would originally say that beating up William Regal would be that. But then he does this interview about how William Regal wronged him, and now fuck, I guess William Regal had that fucking coming.
Like, you want to know why Sammy keeps going back to the Inner Circle and Chris Jericho? For some kind of heat on Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Because he's the only person who consistently gets booed.
Giving Sammy heat because he's Sammy.
Yeah, well, that's exactly my point. Like, he's the only person that consistently gets
He
booed.
could still be a bad guy without Jericho.
It's not for Sammy. It's for Jericho.
Jericho.
This isn't a Sammy problem.
Sammy comes out with him. AEW fans, for as much as we sit here and say like nobody likes a bully, this fan base really likes a damn bully, because you say like something mean and quippy to another good guy on television and you're instantly cheered and everybody laughs and you're liked. Be a star, AEW.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, last thing we're going to talk about is it's been made public.
All that.
Yeah, now we're going to talk about some more bullying.
It's another segment, everyone, so get ready for 3 more hours.
Yeah. Well, this one should be pretty quick because I feel the end game for all 3 of us is already there. So, it has been announced that Nick Aldis will not be choosing to re-sign with the NWA. The NWA had a pay-per-view last night. I didn't watch it. And decided to put the belt on Tyrus. And a lot of people were outraged about them putting the belt on Tyrus, which I understand, but I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper, but how many of you were actually a fan of the NWA and are betrayed by this, or how many of you are just jumping on a bandwagon? That's neither here nor there, but a lot of people are just oh, this is terrible because we don't like Tyrus. It's who it really sucks for? Those of us that love the NWA and loved everything that it got built up as, and we're on this journey with Tim Storm and Nick Aldis and Cody and Trevor Murdoch,
Ricky Starks, Eddie Kingston,
Eli Drake.
Oh,
yeah. So yeah, you're
the question mark.
Yeah, karate. So yeah, well, I'm not faulting anyone for being pissed off at this decision. Just imagine how those of us that actually had some stock and passion for this company feel. That's not the big talking point, though. The big talking point is Nick Aldis is not renewing. And on the Not Sam podcast, I know I don't really like to plug other incredibly more successful podcasts on this channel, Nick Aldis laid it all out there as to why he's gone. And he details that he didn't get enough credit. Details that other people have come into the promotion. And Billy Corgan's going with those people. I can't Cliff Notes it, but yeah. Nick Aldis carried that banner loud and proud and, became the face of an organization, that is a niche organization because, not everybody's kind of into that presentation, but I liked it. I liked how Nick Aldis carried himself, and if, as much as I love the Smashing Pumpkins, if Billy wants to treat a guy that way, treat his wife that way, and then kind of put the belt on who you put the belt on. Yeah, I'm done. That hurts because NWA actually cares about St. Louis and cares about bringing good wrestling to our city. And, NWA made us a priority when AEW thinks of us as an afterthought. But here we are. CJ, what do you think? Because you're probably even bigger NWA fan than I am.
Yeah, I started with Power. I started actually before Power.
10 pounds of
but
gold.
I started in the 10 pounds of gold when it was absolutely nothing, and I watched the whole thing unfurl, and I was there for Power episode 1 on YouTube, and every week after that, and trying to keep up with it through the pandemic. From Camille's first day with Nick, that was something else that he has to his credit that he didn't really mention on the podcast, is one of my favorite wrestlers. Is kind of someone that he started from the ground up, and she works like she was taught to by him and a lot of others. I like Nick Aldis. I've paid money to meet him several times, and sometimes we go up to see him places and talk to him without paying money, and he's still perfectly nice to us in the same way that he is when we do pay money. And you know what? For someone who's met wrestlers that I give them my money and they could give a shit about me, I like that. I think that that's genuine, personally. I've heard a lot of other people talk about how great he is and how I've seen him do things that he doesn't have to do to be good to his fans. I've never heard him big league anybody. But, that's fine. There are some people. I didn't hear a lot of people say bad things about the interview that he had. I thought he was professional in airing his grievances. After, his boss, the promoter, aired his own grievances about the situation and, suspended him for saying that he put in his notice. To me, that rings like a kindergartner. And so I'm kind of done with the NWA too. You're going to have to really do some work to bring me back, because not just because Nick Aldis, but because I think that as a promoter, I'm critical of this of Tony Khan too. Shut the fuck up. Just promote. Shut the fuck up. Don't go on every fucking podcast every week and air your grievances. Don't. Just don't. It's not a good look. Then maybe your wrestlers don't have to put on that, they put in their notice and that your promotion is toxic and that you're embarrassed to be in line with it, because there were a lot of other wrestlers that are of note that left the NWA for bigger things, and maybe just left it, to be on dark because it was a little toxic, and one person can't always make the difference. It's sad though, because that was the promotion that gave me what I personally wanted from wrestling on a weekly basis and left me sports entertained.
Yep.
Every single week.
And it is, again, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to talk down to anybody who's just kind of upset with this for their own reasons or after the fact, But, Nick Aldis along with the Tyrus thing, like, I didn't have the attachment to the NWA like I did, had with AEW, going to All In and all that stuff. But, I remember hearing about that and then watching the 10 pounds of gold and, watching how they were going to present the NWA going forward, as the traveling champion. It starts with Tim Storm and telling his story. And then during Tim Storm's story, that's where Nick Aldis comes in, and first Tim Storm wins, and then he has Josephus, may God rest his soul. And then Nick Aldis comes back, and then Nick Aldis is the champion. Then, like, through there, you're telling the Josephus Tim Storm story, of them both wanting a shot at Nick Aldis. And then with Nick Aldis comes Cody Rhodes. And then from, Cody Rhodes, they worked Flip Gordon. There's another name that's kind of toxic these days, but they brought that whole deal, and then they brought in all these different things that were just very, very good. and talking, just kind of talking about like where wrestling is all over the world, and this is where the champ is going, and it was something that I really, really enjoyed, and then now, and the reason I enjoyed it, at first it was Tim Storm, but then then it became Nick Aldis, and while I was pulling for Cody at All In, like Nick Aldis was the man. Cody wasn't meant to hold the belt for a long time, but Nick Aldis was. Over 1,000 days, and he brought dignity to that organization, and now, when when Nick Aldis is telling you, I can't bring any dignity to this, and I encourage everybody to listen to the interview because it's very telling. It makes me sad, because I enjoyed kind of that journey, and now it's kind of like it's like coming into like, well, you're done. This is done for you. It's not what you fell in love with anymore. It sucks. It sucks. I said especially because they see our city as a marquee city and not just like, oh well, we'll give them 2 hours of dark matches and they should consider themselves lucky.
Let me ask you, at the height, and I would say right after 73, when Aldis dropped the belt, I think that was the height of their popularity, of their prestige. What would you have valued that company at monetarily? Vita said this company is for sale. How much would you have paid for the NWA after NWA 73?
I don't know.
Would you say like $500,000? Would you say 250,000?
I'd say $500,000.
Is that too high?
I'd say $500,000.
$500,000. Do you know how much Billy Corgan paid for the NWA?
$2,500, right?
It was $3,000.
$3,000. That's close.
That is huge growth, and I think did Nick Aldis put this all on his back and carry it on his own? No. I mean, he had help. He did. But is he the face? Was he the face of that whole thing? Was it him in the main event losing the belt and doing the honors that made that match memorable?
Yep.
Yes. Yes, it was. Did he make that a $500,000 company by dressing like $1 million every single night? Yep. Sure did. Sure did.
Yep. And it's not everybody associated with the NWA is bad. Cardona's still there. Trevor Murdoch's still there. Things that Nick had good things to say about. You do have good people, good independent workers there. But Selena wants to weigh in. But yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of the end. It's sad. It's sad that something that was very likable is now just kind of whatever. But I think Selena's telling me it's time to wrap this up. I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content.
Really have an because I don't know 100% about the story, so I just kept quiet.
We'll send you a link to that podcast. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. And follow me on my social media pages, facebook.com/athleticgeekA9, Twitter, athletic_geekA9, Instagram @athleticgeekA9, and be sure to enter the contest. It'll be up on Thursday to give you plenty of time to get your picks in before the pay-per-view on Saturday. And does anybody else have social media? I'm playing with Selena right now.
Follow me at the Twitterverse at Eric Zarin, ZarikZarins.
I am on Twitter at CJTMall0.
All right. Well, for CJ and EZ and Selena here, we are just Marks, and we're out. Have a good one.